WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Last week, the United States Supreme Court overturned death row inmate Curtis Flowers' murder conviction. The High Court ruled the prosecutor had unfairly excluded African Americans from the jury. They used an earlier ruling to guide that decision. Our Jory Talley joins us live with more on this story. Jory?
It's called the Batson Rule, and it's been around since the late 1980s. It comes into play when there's a pattern of racial bias believed to be involved in jury selection. The Flowers case went to trial for the 6th time, and it's likely not the last. What is now known as the Batson Rule comes from the Supreme Court case Batson versus Kentucky in 1986. It means lawyers can't get rid of potential jurors based solely on their race and must give a valid reason for excluding someone.
During our history, we've had some times where probably some people use race as a means to try to prevent diversity in juries. And so the Supreme Court has basically stepped in and said that race is not an appropriate consideration when determining who should be on a jury.
Montgomery County District Attorney Doug Evans' methods for choosing and striking jurors were at the center of an appeal filed by lawyers for convicted murderer Curtis Flowers. The U.S. Supreme Court determined that the Batson Rule applied in Flowers' 6th trial. A majority ruled that the jury did not reflect the makeup of the community.
As you know, there's been a lot of talk in the media recently about how if you're caught and found to have struck jurors because of their race, then the conviction gets reversed and you have to start all over. And so that's the punishment that happens.
You want the jury to represent the community, number one. And number two, you want there to be a fair trial. People from different backgrounds have different views and different standing in the community and differing opinions on what should and should not be right, and sometimes that's important to your case.
Defense attorney Jeff Hosford says race shouldn't play a role when it comes to selecting jurors.
Now, does that mean that it should be an all-white jury, an all-black jury? No, obviously, and you should take that into account anytime of anything. You have to have the input of all the people of the community, and everything that occurs in that community should involve all the people.
Hosford says what a good lawyer wants is 12 individuals who will listen to the facts and make a fair decision based on those facts.
You look for certain things, and certain life things affect people differently. Obviously, if somebody works in law enforcement, they're going to have more of a view that's pro-law enforcement than somebody that does not. And that's somebody that's had a family member arrested may have a lesser view of facts as presented by police officers. And obviously, each side in a defense situation is looking at those and trying to make that decision based on what they believe is the best for that case.
Doug Evans is still the district attorney in the 5th Judicial District. He has not publicly indicated whether he will call for a new trial. Reporting here in Lowndes County, Jory Talley, WCBI News.
All right, thank you, Jory, for that live report tonight. In other news, West Point police are searching for a Dollar General robber who flashed a gun at employees and customers. Pictures show the gunman wearing a black hoodie, black Adidas pants, black shoes, and a red mask covering his face. He went into the store on Highway 50 about 9:45 Sunday night. If you have any information about this robbery, call Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. Senate Bill 2716 takes effect next week, and it could have a big impact on area rental properties. In the past, when a tenant was served an eviction notice, they would be assigned a court date. After the hearing, the judge will usually give the renter several weeks or even months to either catch up or move. The new law allows landlords to force move-outs sooner, possibly within a matter of days. But some local property owners are skeptical.
So the bill can say all these elaborate things that it wants to, but if you ain't got anybody willing to serve it, then you're up the creek without a paddle, so the saying goes. Well, we really hadn't had a problem. So for those that would have a problem, yeah, I can see that could be helpful.
Details on Senate Bill 2716 are on our website, WCBI.com. Columbus continues to rebuild after a tornado ripped through the city in February. City leaders sent out notices to property owners whose homes were damaged and can't be salvaged. Property owners have three options. They can either repair the damaged structure, demolish it themselves, or have the city come in and tear it down for a fee. Homeowners have until next Monday to notify the city of their decision. WCBI's Quentin Smith talks with the city's code enforcement officer, and we'll have more on this story coming up tonight on WCBI News at 9 and 10. Time now to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. He joins us with a first look at our forecast.
Joy, right now a lot of sunshine across our region. A live view at Mississippi State University. Temperatures mainly in the mid-80s here in our neck of the woods. Winona, though, a little bit cooler at 81. So pretty nice and pleasant across the region here on our Monday afternoon. Scattered clouds, all the storms well off to our east. So we don't have to worry about that for a change this evening. No downpours to ruin your backyard barbecue. We're down into the low 70s by 11 o'clock. Lows tonight actually getting down into the upper 60s, perhaps some mid 60s too. More storms, though, are in the forecast. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes.
Even though Columbus students are on summer break, many have been showing up at school. The Columbus Municipal School District has been opening cafeterias for breakfast and lunch, but some students' families have been dealing with an extra burden this summer. Our Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio to explain. Stephanie.
Joey, the Columbus School Board voted this morning to extend the school feeding program for another month. Just one step to recovery for families struggling with February's tornado. The storm has passed, debris is being removed, and homes are being repaired. But some damage is harder to see. For families recovering from the tornado damage, it may be challenging to provide meals throughout the day for their children.
Some kids are still wandering around the neighborhood without food to eat.
Director of Child Nutrition Mia Johnson says now children are able to receive free meals for the rest of the summer. On Monday morning, Columbus Municipal School District voted yes to extend the summer feeding program. From July 1st through the 26th, children up to 18 years old can come to Stokes Beard Elementary School for breakfast and lunch.
You know, all you have to do is come in and you get a good, decent lunch, and that's good enough for me and my little people.
Probably be their only meal they'll have, and so we try to make it a healthy meal, a filling meal, a meal that could last them until we see them the next morning for breakfast.
Greg Lewis is the director of Columbus Recreation Department. He has around 143 kids in his camp, and a few are victims of the tornado.
It shows the compassion that the district has toward the children by extending the program, because some of those children, not just the ones that are in our park camp, but some of these children walk over here, and this may be the only nutritious meals that they receive during the day.
And there's no registration required to bring your child.
It's like anytime people are displaced, it places a hardship on that family or on that individual. So anytime where there's a place where you can get free nutritious meals, it's always going to be a benefit.
Breakfast is served from 7:45 to 8:30 a.m. and lunch is served from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The program will be closed, however, for July 4th and 5th in observance of Independence Day.
Starkville's Unity Park receives an important gift. The Oktibbeha County Training School Henderson High School Scholarship Fund organization donated a new bench to the park. The organization awards scholarships to high school students every year. They were approached by the Unity Park Association to help with this project. The group says they plan to host a biannual reunion at Unity Park this July.
So we're reaching out to Starkville High, other members of the community, friends of Oktibbeha County and Henderson High School to come and join us, because we want to help kids further their education. There are no paid members in this organization. Everyone's a volunteer. So it's just about giving back to the community.
Over the past 5 years, the organization has donated over $56,000 in scholarships.
The summer reading program at the Jesse Yancey Memorial Library in Bruce is out of this world. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. The 50th anniversary of the first moon landing is weeks away, and an area library is using a summer program to educate youngsters about the historic achievement. WCBI's Allie Martin has more from Bruce about an out-of-this-world program.
From the story time at this summer reading program,
an astronaut's work is never done, so astronauts do not like to sleep.
To the craft. There is one common theme.
The universe of stories.
To mark the 50th anniversary of the U.S. landing the first man on the moon, the Jess Yancey Memorial Library in Bruce is using its summer reading program to help youngsters explore the solar system. Branch manager Janice Vaughn says she hopes students learn about the first moon landing and also cultivate a love for reading.
It's something free, and we just hope that the parents will bring their children out, the parents will come out and have a learning experience. It's so important during the summer to keep our kids reading, because there's statistics that show that if the child does not read during the summer, that they go backwards. And we want the children to move forward.
Kids who come to the summer reading program work up quite an appetite, but that's okay. A professor from Ole Miss shows up and provides lunch and teaches the youngsters about math and science using food.
Let's take a good look at each one of these plants. They're going to be learning about how plants grow. So we are going to be planting cilantro. They'll be able to take it home with them and observe it grow.
Parents appreciate the summer reading program at their local library.
Reading's really good for you. Helps you. I always teach my kids it helps you with the test at school, helps you with your words, to learn bigger words. It's really good for you. I think you should read a book every day. I have them reading every day.
The reading program wraps up Tuesday evening with an astronomy lesson at the Square Theater. In Bruce, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
This is the second year the University of Mississippi has taken part in the Bruce Summer Reading Program.
Good looking weather out there right now. Live view at Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon, 614, a mostly sunny sky. Now we do have a few more showers and storms in the forecast. We'll talk about it in your full forecast next. Stay tuned.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
6:17 on our Monday afternoon. No issues whatsoever. Now, some of you have had a lot of rain over the last 24 hours. Really, the last couple of days, several inches of rain. Now, some spots, hardly a drop. And I will raise my hand here. My backyard, not seeing a lot over the last couple of days here, but we've had these spotty storms around, and right now the strongest cell is shifting east of Alabama towards the Atlanta metro area, and they will continue moving east. So right now for this evening, for a good chunk of tonight, and really for the first part of our day tomorrow, things should be okay around here. Here's our Alpha Insurance Camera Network in Columbus, Tupelo, Vernon, again at Durham's Pharmacy, downtown Louisville, Mississippi. Some of those friendly clouds moving out through, puffy cumulus, some higher level cirrus, but in general, a great afternoon of weather considering how stormy it was this morning with some of that rain and severe weather in parts of the region. Now, as we check out the rain chances for the next 7 days, about 30, 40, maybe 50%, it really just varies day to day here. Little disturbances, daytime heating, but no big weather systems coming our way anytime soon, but there will be some storms around. We're looking at mid-80s in most spots here this afternoon. The heat index isn't too bad. It feels like 90. We can handle that. It feels like 100 down there in Tallahassee, Florida. So that's where the more humid air is. It's getting a little bit dry around here. You probably don't know it, but it feels a little bit better out there. Lows tonight down into the upper 60s, maybe some of you in the mid 60s. So a comfortable start on our day Tuesday, but by noon, mid-80s, flirting with 90 or so during the course of the afternoon. We'll start to bubble up the clouds, a better chance for some of those showers and storms during the day. It's not going to be an all-day washout here across the Twin States, but there will be a chance for some storms, and highlighted in green is an area of possible severe weather, at least a better chance here, category 1 of 5 as we go throughout the course of our Tuesday, probably damaging wind if we happen to see it. So for tonight, no problems. Tomorrow morning, no issues. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be watching storms off to the west. This particular solution converges a batch of storms here in our area tomorrow evening. We'll see how it plays out. The forecast models have been having a difficult time picking up on where these complexes of storms have been roaming over the last couple of days. So consider that for what it's worth now. The chance for some showers and storms here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday into the weekend. So I don't think any one of these days will be an all-day washout, but just have a backup plan if one of those showers or storms comes your way. Any storm may produce some gusty wind, lightning, and heavy downpours this time of year. Highs around 90, lows around 70.
The high school football tour returns. It's officially football season. Vardaman gets the marathon going. Next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The high school football tour is back. For the next 60 days, we'll preview 60 high school football teams up until August 23rd, opening night. Stop number 1 features the Vardaman Rams. A new head coach leads the way for Vardaman, hoping to return the Rams back to the postseason. A new era begins for Vardaman football. From assistant to head man in charge, Brennan Pugh takes over for Larry Gann this upcoming fall. Pugh saying this is where he wanted to be.
Last year, about the second week of the season, realized it's something I wanted to do, so I've been preparing for it. But obviously, there's a lot that goes into it that you can't prepare for, so it's been pretty busy.
Pugh takes over a Rams squad hungry for the playoff success of old. Vardaman missed the postseason for the 4th time in 6 seasons in 2018, but the players believe Pugh will help change that around.
It's definitely the hardest I've worked since I've been at Vardaman, and I'm really excited to see how it transfers into the fall.
He showed us what he loved to do and what he would push us to do, and this year we're more comfortable with him, and I believe it's going to carry over a lot this year.
And a lot of people in the community have made me aware of that, which I already knew, but definitely a lot of pride in the football program here in Vardaman, and I want to be able to give them something they can be proud of again.
The Rams will rely on a good balance of experienced seniors and eager newcomers in 2019. Vardaman jumps into a loaded Region 2-1A, ready to show some of the class's top teams what they're made of.
When we got first moved to the south, we could definitely tell it's a change. Teams were a lot tougher, a lot more physical, and that's what we're expecting. Really keep an eye on everybody because I think the whole team's going to shock a lot of people.
I really want to set the standard for a new football program here. We got a new championship standards, what Coach Pugh's telling us to live by, and that's what I plan on doing. And I hope the team follows up with it, and I just hope we buy in, and I think it's going to be good. It's just going to be something you better watch out for.
The Rams kick off the 2019 season at home against Myrtle. In Vardaman, Tom Ebel, WCBI Sports.
60 schools in 60 days with Vardaman High School is brought to you by Weyerhaeuser and the town of Vardaman.
The upcoming stops on the high school football tour, sticking with that loaded Region 2-1A for this week. West Lowndes coming up tomorrow. Hamilton, new head coach as well, they're on Wednesday. Defending champion Nanawaya on Thursday, and Smithville coming up on Friday. Go to our Twitter and Facebook accounts at WCBI Endzone to see the full schedule. The College World Series Championship is underway, and it's 2-0 Michigan right off the bat. A David versus Goliath story. You have Michigan, who hasn't been to a state national championship series since 1962. Vanderbilt won it back in 2014, was in the title series in 2015. First pitch coming at 6:10. Again, this is your latest, 2-0 Michigan. We'll have the latest coming up at 10 right here on WCBI Sports. For the second straight year, an Ole Miss Rebel will compete in the College Home Run Derby. Tyler Keenan selected to the Derby this year. Thomas Dillard competed in it last year, Keenan being the 4th Rebel to compete. The sophomore led the Rebels in home runs this past season with 15, while driving in the 5th most runs in program history with 66 RBIs on the season. That's it for sports. We'll have Alaska forecast coming up next.
Standard summer weather for our part of the world. Warm and humid, highs around 90, lows around 70. Now, each one of these days looks like it's going to rain the entire day when you just look at that, but it's not going to be one of those type of patterns, I don't think. But there will be some scattered storms around primarily during the daytime heating.
We're used to that. And it will be very humid, I'm guessing, with all those chances of rain.
Plenty of humidity. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I've told somebody it's kind of like living in a crock pot.
There you go.
All right, thanks for joining us, everyone.